Hey, and welcome back to the Universe Show. I'm your host, Angela, and I am so excited to have you here for the Infinite Woman Universe Show. I hope that by now you have already checked out the activation store. It officially launched last week. I don't know if you call it a launch or whatever. It wasn't like extravagant, but I did let you know that last week it was officially open, and I am so excited and so grateful for all the support and all the love that you have shown me. If you have not yet checked out the activation store, I'm going to leave the link for you in the comments. I am so excited to hear your feedback on the meditations and on the journal prompts. I would love to hear it. I would just love to hear from you. And so this week's episode is near and dear to my heart. And it's near and dear to my heart. One, because I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy. I am completely making the shift towards this direction. But because I have battled with this day in and day out for years. And I think that it's important that we talk about it. I think that it's important that we talk about how to actually heal it, not cope with it. And it is self-sabotage. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing that we do regularly on the Universe Show. I'm going to give you some tips, and then I am going to give you some journal prompts, and then, of course, an activation. And again, if you are interested in the Self-Sabotage Slayer, the beta course, then just let me know that you're interested and I will reach out and contact you. We still have some spaces available. So if you are interested in that, now is the time to do that. Especially if you have little to no money to invest, this will be perfect for you, because I am just going to charge beta testers only $97 to do this. And when I release the course, it will be $997 for the first go around, or however long I decide. So this is a steal to get in on this opportunity. Okay, so let's get into why you're here, right? You're not just here to talk about the activation store and the Self-Sabotage Slayer, even though I would love to talk about those all day long, but let's talk about why you're here. Okay, if you have ever struggled with self-sabotage, you have come to the right place. And what exactly is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage is when you are doing really well for a really long time or a short period of time, and then you kind of cut yourself off at the knees, and then you have to kind of restart all over. Okay, I have done this a million times. Okay, I've done this with dieting. I've done this with my business. I've done this with running. I've done this with relationships. I have done this with everything that you can think of. And I know that some people, they struggle with self-sabotage, like in the form of procrastination and distraction and things like that. No. I self-sabotage straight to the heart, okay? Straight to the heart. I self-sabotage, and if you have been following me for a long time, you know this. I self-sabotage with men. So what I do is when things are going really well in my business, things are going really well financially, things are going really well for me emotionally and mentally and physical, I go back to men that I know that are not good for me, that I know that don't deserve to be around me and in my energy, that we've been broken up, that, we've had issues, and I see the red flags and I go right back to them. And what happens is I get really happy and I don't realize that I'm doing it. And I'm like, well, I want to share all this happiness with someone. And so I think that the only person that I can share this happiness with is, so-and-so. And the truth is that it ends up totally destroying everything for me. I end up putting on weight like crazy. Because for me, if I don't feel safe, I immediately put weight on. Like that is just, it's like immediate within seconds. So that is just a little bit of my experience. And I want you to be aware of that, because I feel like procrastination and distraction and not making those phone calls when you know that you're supposed to be making those phone calls, I think that there's a fine line between resistance and self-sabotage, and because each circumstance could be unique, I think that I wouldn't be able to know unless I specifically talked to this person and worked with this person. Now, I gave you this other example because I do believe that distraction and procrastination, that's surface level bullshit, okay? I want to talk to you about deep stuff, like I just mentioned, with me going back into relationships that, that I know that are going to hurt me, because ultimately self-sabotage is not about really raising your standards. I just read this in a book and it floored me. And obviously I was triggered by it, but it's not just about raising your standards, okay? Self-sabotage is whether or not you feel safe. If you completely, all of you, feel safe doing what it is that you're doing, that's what it's about, okay? This is why I talk about safety so much. This is why safety is by far the most important thing that you can create in your life and in your body and in your energy. And it is this way because if you do not feel safe, you will go and do shit like this. You will go and self-sabotage yourself. It doesn't matter if you're making $100,000 a month. If you do not feel safe making $100,000 a month, you will sabotage yourself. You will find a way to make it happen. Okay? And it's because there's this part of you that does not feel safe making that kind of money. And your job is to figure out which part of that is there so that you can nurture it and love it. But that is the main reason why you self-sabotage, and that is how you essentially cure self-sabotage, is by nurturing it and parenting it. This is why I am doing the Self-Sabotage Slayer course that I am uber excited about, and that I highly recommend for you if you deal with self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, doubts, fears, all of the 9, right? If you deal with self-criticism, if you deal with second guessing yourself, if you deal with the inner critic, if you deal with all of that, this class, this course, it is for you, I promise. Okay? Because I know how to solve all of those, like all of them, forever. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check that out. Okay, so now that we've kind of talked a little bit about self-sabotage, let's talk about some, you already know, journal prompts and your tool pen. If you would like your journal and a tool pen, the link is for you down below in the description. Make sure you check that out. If you're here, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. I appreciate you and love you so much. I know that you could be doing something else with your time, and so I truly, truly appreciate you being here. I know that some of you have followed me for a super long time, and I've got so much love for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, journal prompts. Okay. The first journal prompt is, number 1, which part of you doesn't feel safe? Okay, you're going to ask yourself this, and there might be multiple parts coming up depending on how much healing you've done, depending on where you're at with your life, just depending, okay? This is going to be different for all of you, but just kind of go with whatever it is that you've been told, and whatever it is that you've been told is the right answer, and write it down. 2, how can you give this part of you safety? You're going to ask this part, how can I give you safety? You're going to journal all of this. How can I give you safety? And then they're going to tell you the answer. And then your job is to deliver on whatever it is that they said. And number 3, when this part of you feels safe, how do you feel as a whole? Okay, and this is just about checking in so that you know the difference when you're not totally feeling safe and when you are feeling safe. This will help you dramatically. I cannot stress this enough about why checking in with yourself, and journaling is a piece of checking in with yourself. So these are your journal prompts. If you didn't get them, that's okay. I'm going to leave them in the description for you so that you don't have to rush and pause and do all those things. They will be there for you along with the link for the activation store. And again, if you are interested in the Self-Sabotage Slayer, make sure you put interested in the comments and I will find a way to reach out to you. Okay, let me put these bad boys away and we can get into the one and only activation. If you're here, let me know that you're here. Say activation, say what's up. It doesn't matter. Make sure you like and subscribe. Okay. All right. Before we get into this guided meditation or this activation, if you will, please make sure that you are in a safe and comfortable environment. Please make sure that you are not driving or operating heavy equipment. Let's not do that, okay? It's so unsafe for you, and I would feel terrible if something happened. So, okay. Go ahead and close your eyes whenever you're ready. And let's go ahead and begin. Good. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Good. Allowing yourself to sink into where you're at. Take another deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Good. Allowing your shoulders to drop, allowing yourself to just sink into where you are. Good. Take another deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Good. Allowing yourself to totally and completely relax now. Now, starting at the crown of your head, just let all the fears, anxiety, thoughts, stress, worries, shame, guilt, embarrassment, just let it all melt away now. Just let it all melt away. Going into your forehead, just let it all melt away now. Down into your throat, just let it all melt away now. Down into your chest, just let it all melt away now. Down your stomach, just let it all melt away now. Down into your hips, your thighs, just let it all melt away. Melt away through your shins, your calves, your ankles, your feet, and your toes. Just let it all melt away into the earth. And if you have any thoughts stirring, know that it's okay. You're safe. Just see them and let them go. And in your mind's eye, you can see this dark, dark space. And you just kind of sit there in this dark space. And as you sit here in this dark space, you realize that you're safe here in this dark space, in this void. Like you've been here before. And as you sit here, you start to notice that another version of you pops up. And this version of you looks younger, but you know that it's you. And then another. And another. And another. And another. Until this void is completely filled with versions of you, with parts of you. And they're all chattering. They're all saying your name. Some of them are saying hurtful things. Some of them are saying things that you remember as a child. Some of them, their emotions are so big it's almost overwhelming. And the noise is so loud that you just want to run and hide. Tell them to shut up, to make them go away. But suddenly you remember doing that from before. And you knew that that didn't help you from before. So rather than running and hiding or cover your ears or feeling overwhelmed, you sit right there. And one by one, you talk to each version or part of you. And as you do this, you start to notice that these parts of you are disappearing inside of you. And you just keep going in perfect and divine timing for you. Good. Keep going. And finally, you come to the very last part of you. And she integrates. And you look around and realize that there's no longer any resistance. There's nothing there to fight you. That you can have the success that you desire and the alignment you long for and the dreams you dream of. You feel whole and complete, integrated and activated. That you're allowed to be all of you, completely and wholly. Messy and weird. Beautiful and confident. You feel so good and excited to be here. No longer any conflict. second guessing yourself or sabotaging yourself. You've finally moved out of your own way now. And as you relish in this moment, you float back down into the earth. You come back down into the room. You come back down into your body. You wiggle your fingers and your toes and open your eyes when you're ready. All right, how did you like that? Let me know in the comments how everything went for you, how your week went, what came up with your journaling prompts. I would love to hear about whether or not you felt an improvement with self-sabotage and inner conflict and all of those things. Let me know in the comments. I can't wait to hear all about it, and I will see you next week. See ya.